Have you ever stopped to think about the fleeting nature of life? Ever wondered how the Stoics approach this concept? In our world of constant flux, the only thing that remains constant is change. It's a universal truth that permeates every aspect of our existence. This is the essence of impermanence, the philosophical concept that everything in our universe, from the seasons to our very lives, is transient and ever-changing. Now, if we shift our gaze back in time to the era of the ancient Stoics, we find that they had a profound understanding of this concept. They saw the world as an ever-turning wheel of change, where every joy, every sorrow, every triumph, and every loss was but a momentary flicker on the canvas of time. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "Time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and a violent stream. For as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place, and this will be carried away too." This perspective, my friends, encapsulates the Stoic view of impermanence in its most vivid form. But why should we care about this ancient philosophy in our modern world? Well, the answer lies in the peace and tranquility that understanding impermanence can bring to our lives. By accepting that nothing is permanent, that everything we hold dear will one day change or fade, we can learn to appreciate the present moment more deeply. We can let go of our anxieties about the future, our regrets about the past, and live fully in the now. This doesn't mean we should abandon our dreams or stop striving for a better future. Instead, it's about recognizing that our time is limited and precious. It's about understanding that the world around us is fleeting, and instead of resisting this fact, we should embrace it. Understanding impermanence is the first step towards embracing it. And to fully grasp it, we need to delve deeper into the Stoic philosophy. So stick with me as we embark on this journey of exploration and discovery. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, holds the key to understanding and accepting impermanence. This is a philosophy that emerged in the 3rd century BC, a time of great turbulence and uncertainty, much like our own era. It was embraced by some of the most influential figures in history, from Epictetus, a former slave, to the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. But what is Stoicism, and how does it relate to impermanence? The Stoics, in essence, believed that the path to happiness lies in understanding the natural order of the world and accepting our place within it. They proposed that we should focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, our actions, our responses, and accept what is beyond it, the world around us, the passing of time, the inevitability of change. In the grand scheme of things, so much of what we fret about is beyond our control: the weather, the economy, the actions of others. Yet we often allow these external factors to dictate our happiness. The Stoics would argue that this is a recipe for dissatisfaction. Instead, they encouraged us to find contentment in our own actions and attitudes, in the choices we make, and the values we uphold. One of the key principles of Stoicism is the acceptance of impermanence. Everything around us, the Stoics believed, is in a constant state of flux. The seasons change, empires rise and fall, even the stars in the heavens are not permanent. Rather than resisting this reality, the Stoics taught that we should embrace it, recognizing that change is not only inevitable, but natural and necessary. This acceptance of impermanence frees us from the fear of loss and the futile pursuit of permanence. It allows us to live fully in the present, appreciating the beauty and value of each moment before it passes. It reminds us that every ending is also a beginning, and that change, while sometimes painful, can also bring growth and renewal. The Stoics found peace in accepting the impermanence of life. But how can we apply this ancient wisdom to our modern lives? How can we harness the power of Stoicism to live more fully, more authentically, and more at peace with the world around us? Let's explore this further in the next segment. Before continuing, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you find our content valuable. Now let's explore the art of letting go. An ancient Stoic practice, letting go is an art that requires practice and determination. It's like learning to play a musical instrument. You don't become a virtuoso overnight. It takes time, repetition, and a willingness to face the discordant notes head-on. Now, imagine a balloon. When you hold onto it tightly, it strains against your grip, eager to drift into the open sky. But the moment you let go, it soars freely, unhindered by your tight grasp. Our attachments are like that balloon. The more we cling to them, the more they strain against us, causing us stress and anxiety. Take, for instance, the attachment to outcomes. We often tether our happiness to specific results. We tell ourselves, "I'll be happy when I get that promotion," or "I'll be satisfied when I reach this particular goal." But what if that promotion or goal never comes? Does that mean we are doomed to a life of unhappiness? Of course not. By letting go of our attachment to these outcomes, we free ourselves from the chains of expectation and open ourselves up to the possibility of finding joy in the journey, not just the destination. Similarly, clinging to past regrets or future anxieties anchors us down, preventing us from fully experiencing the present moment. By releasing these anchors, we allow ourselves to float freely in the river of time, fully immersed in the here and now. Consider the wise words of Marcus Aurelius, a notable Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By letting go of our attachments, we reclaim the power over our minds, and in doing so, we find our strength. Letting go can be difficult, but it is a necessary step in embracing impermanence. It's about understanding that nothing is permanent, and that clinging to anything, be it a person, a possession, or an outcome, only leads to suffering. Embrace the art of letting go and find your path to a more fulfilling and peaceful life. Now that we understand the concept of letting go, we can begin to embrace impermanence. What could be more stoic than accepting that nothing is eternal? It's a profound realization, but it's also liberating. Embracing impermanence means acknowledging the ever-changing nature of life. It means accepting that everything we know, everything we are, is transient. One practical way to embrace impermanence is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of being fully present and engaged in the here and now. It's about paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and sensations without judgment. It's the opposite of being on autopilot. When we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of the fleeting nature of our experiences, and we learn to appreciate them while they last. Another way to embrace impermanence is by practicing gratitude. Gratitude is about recognizing the good in our lives and appreciating it. When we are grateful, we focus on the present moment rather than worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. We learn to appreciate the transient beauty of life, and we become more resilient in the face of change. These practices, mindfulness and gratitude, can help us reduce anxiety about the future. Anxiety often stems from our desire to control the uncontrollable, to cling to the impermanent. But when we embrace impermanence, we let go of this desire. We learn to ride the waves of change rather than trying to stop them. We learn to live in the present moment rather than worrying about the future. Remember, embracing impermanence is not about giving up or becoming indifferent. It's about accepting life as it is, with all its ups and downs. It's about finding peace in the midst of change. It's also important to remember that embracing impermanence is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong journey. It's a journey of self-discovery and growth. And it's a journey that can lead to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Embracing impermanence is not a one-time event, it's a lifelong journey. Impermanence, while at first may seem daunting, holds a hidden power. This power, when understood and embraced, can profoundly transform our lives. It is the power that dispels illusions, reduces anxiety, and fosters resilience. Take, for instance, the life-changing perspective of the great physicist Albert Einstein. He once remarked, "The distinction between the past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." Einstein embraced the impermanence of time, and this understanding revolutionized our comprehension of the universe. Embracing impermanence can also be a potent antidote to anxiety. When we accept that change is inevitable, we are less likely to worry about maintaining the status quo. we can better adapt to life's vicissitudes, allowing us to navigate through our days with a sense of calm and composure. Moreover, the acceptance of impermanence cultivates resilience. Just as in nature, where forests regrow after a fire or rivers carve new paths after a storm, we too can rebuild and reshape ourselves in the face of change. The influential writer and civil rights activist Maya Angelou captured this beautifully when she said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." By seeing life as a constantly changing, ever-evolving process, we can appreciate every fleeting moment. We can let go of our attachment to the past, our fear of the future, and live fully in the present. As the renowned mindfulness teacher Thich Nhat Hanh wisely put it, this is a very important practice. Live your daily life in a way that you never lose yourself. When you're carried away with your worries, fears, cravings, anger, and desire, you run away from yourself and you lose yourself. The practice is always to go back to oneself. Thank you for joining us today. Remember, as the Stoics believed, change is the only constant in life. Share this video with someone you think could benefit from this message. Embrace the change. Embrace impermanence.